Hi, I'm Brian King, and this is 5 Things Friday. Today, I want to offer you 5 things that I wish I'd known sooner. 5 things that have greatly impacted my marriage that if I had known sooner how much of an impact they were going to have, I probably would have done things a little different. And since it's 5 Things Friday, I get to share like 5 random things. They're not really connected, but they all affected my marriage significantly. Number 5. I had no idea when I first started out in life that the most expensive thing I would ever buy was money. Think about it. You get loans for just about everything nowadays, for the house, for the car, for college, for all of the things that you spend uh, is all buying money. When we built our first house, the interest rates were like 10 or 12%. That was a construction loan, and then we rolled it into another loan, and then over time the rates went down, so we refinanced. And every time you refinance, it takes another little chunk of money. And sure, you're saving over time, but no, you get to pay more over time. Unbelievable how much money I've spent in my lifetime on borrowed money, basically buying money. And don't get me started on credit cards. Those are crazy, especially what they are now. Uh, we did learn, we're doing good. We pay off our credit card all the time. We only have a loan on the house and the car, no other stuff going on. Wish I'd learned that a lot sooner. Would have saved a lot of trouble. Debt adds so much pressure to your marriage, and financial stress can just squeeze the joy out of your marriage. Just be careful with it. Number 4, not totally related, but another thing I wish I'd known sooner. Cell phones are not your friend. Now, when I was growing up, the phone was wired to the wall, and some days I wish it had stayed there. I got into cell phones very early. I had a bag phone in my truck back in the 80s, and then it went to a flip phone, and then a Razor, and then a smartphone. Yeah, they're really smart. And I mean, they're great tools. With my phone, I can make reservations, I can buy stuff, I can take pictures, I can even talk to people on it. It's pretty crazy. But the other thing it can do is take an enormous amount of time. Massive distraction. I've realized that every time I'm scrolling instead of connecting, I'm basically saying, this phone matters more than you right now. Put it away, put it down. When I was younger, I drove cross country without a credit card or a phone and didn't think anything of it. Well, you can't leave home without your phone now. I'm amazed at how naked I feel if I leave my phone at home or if I forget it somewhere. It's a very odd feeling. Never had that growing up, never had it before, but now, man, whoa, but you might have an emergency and need it. Well, in the past 38 years, I've had 6 times, I was thinking about it, 6 times when I was basically stranded because my car broke down. And 2 of those times, a police officer pulled over before I had even called anybody. A couple of times, I would have had to wait a long time, but really, it's not that big a need to have your phone with you all the time. So maybe it's time to do some phone-free zones. Dinner on dates. We carry our phones to dinner because, we want to make sure the kids can get a hold of us, but we make a habit of not using it, not scrolling, not doing anything. When we're on a date, we're on a date. We don't play with our phones, we don't look at them. Just make sure that they're there in case somebody needs to get a hold of us. That was number 4. Number 3, another totally different thing. Excuse me. Even a little drift in your marriage can be dangerous. And it's so subtle. It's a matter of choosing work. When I was building the house, I was totally into it. It took a lot of work, and I, was like, I'd get home from my regular job, and then I'd be there for hours and working on it. And it's subtle, but it takes so much time. And the problem is that small drift becomes distance, and then distance becomes disconnection. When we were building the house, that's probably the time that we fought the most, because I wasn't there a lot. I was working on the house, which is great, but it was more important to stay connected. The fix is to catch it early and say, hey, I miss you. Let's reconnect. Let's have an honest conversation. Let's talk about where we're going, how things are going. Don't let anything get in the way. Your career is not as important as your family. Your time is very important to spend in your marriage and in your family. That's number 3. Number 2 is really close to it. And that is, I wish I'd learned sooner that your marriage should be the center of your marriage. Everything should center around your marriage. Not the kids, not the career. We made a mistake for a while of putting everything else first. Jobs, the house project, the kids. But here's the truth. Your marriage should be the hub of everything. When your relationship is strong, your family's strong, your kids thrive, and, your work improves. So schedule your marriage into your life. Don't wait for time to show up. Make time. That's number 2. And then the number 1 thing I wish I'd learned a lot sooner is that talking to your wife is an aphrodisiac. If I had known early how powerful, simple, open conversation is, I think it would have saved myself years of frustration, because talking builds emotional intimacy, and emotional intimacy builds everything else. Men, your words are powerful. When you talk, listen, and really connect, it's not just communication, it's romance in motion. Take my word for it. I wish I'd learned it sooner. So these 5 lessons changed my life. They change how I approach my marriage, and I wish I'd learned them sooner, but I'm glad I learned them, because now I get to share them with you. So here's my question. Did any of these hit home? Drop a comment in the comments. I'd love to hear what lessons you've learned the hard way. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're getting something out of this. Thanks for listening.